You're looking at me like you've got a problem or something. Acting up here don't really mean unless you're going to fight in here now.
Think that Jake would have enough time, seeing as he's already undersized. He's not a real heavyweight, and this is Anthony fucking Joshua we're talking about.
Take a punch, really. If he takes a big punch from Jake Paul, if he gets hurt in any way by Jake Paul, if he doesn't absolutely ice Jake Paul within a few rounds of this 8-round scheduled bout, well then it really affects his credibility.
Tension rose at the press conference when Anthony Joshua confronted Jake Paul for perceived disrespect, as the heavyweight champion angrily expressed irritation at Paul's remarks and conduct. The heated press conference marked only the start of discussion regarding Jake Paul and Anthony Joshua, as analysts assessed the dangers and consequences of the potential bout. Renowned coach Barry McGuigan delivered notably sharp remarks, stressing the real apprehension many seasoned fighters might feel when confronting someone like Jake Paul, after decades spent training formidable punchers. McGuigan notes that a single solid shot can entirely shift a contest's momentum, illustrating just how hazardous this matchup might ultimately prove in the ring.
Some people are saying, AJ's grabbing the bag. There's nothing wrong with that, because anybody else, if they got offered that kind of money, they would do it. So, yep. And some people are suggesting he might damage his legacy. Where do you sit with the decision of him taking that fight? And it's a professional 8-round fight as well.
Yes, it's a highly dangerous fight for Jake Paul. I don't know what he's doing, unless they have done some sort of caveat or some sort of agreement that he says he's going to go easy on him, or he's not going to go flat out. But I've been tossing this up and down in my mind and trying to figure how, and under God, when he had agreed to fight someone like Tank Davis, who is several divisions below him, that's more like what Jake Paul does, and then he goes from there to fighting Anthony Joshua. I mean, just look at what happened to Francis Ngannou, who's a big, athletic, tough guy and had gone 12 rounds with Tyson Fury and given him a real ding-dong, and then he gets absolutely obliterated in a round and a half against Joshua. That shows you, despite the fact that he's been knocked out since by Daniel Dubois, who could knock out anybody, by the way, in any weight division or in any era of the heavyweight division. He's such a powerful guy, he could knock anybody out if he hits them properly. But it just seems utter madness. And
Wade, host of the Wade Concept podcast, has disclosed that Jake Paul's hidden advantage for the Anthony Joshua bout has now come to light, explaining that Paul has been working with several heavyweight sparring partners to mirror Joshua's stature, reach, and ring experience. These sessions help Paul adapt to genuine heavyweight power while refining his timing and tactical approach, and by preparing with fighters who imitate Joshua's physical attributes. He is equipping himself for the specific challenges he will encounter on fight night.
Joshua fight, if you're Jake Paul, who hasn't fought someone in the top, realistically, the top 50. I know Tommy Fury is ranked in the top 50, but anyone that is a top 50 fighter, even in your weight class, let alone a top 10, top 5 heavyweight in Anthony Joshua, who was a 2-time heavyweight champion of the world. Can you get prepared for a guy like that if you brought in, let's just say, a deity, freaking Zeus, Hercules, whoever, to prepare you? Could you do it? I don't think that Jake would have enough time, seeing as he's already undersized. He's not a real heavyweight, and this is Anthony fucking Joshua we're talking about. But I will say there were rumors going around that Jake was not taking this fight as seriously as he needed to. That Jake was dilly-dallying, flying to go see F1 in Miami after his press conference, and then going to see his girl all the way in the Netherlands if she's trying to qualify for, I think, the Olympics or something else. There was this post from his girlfriend. I don't know if, again, this was in the Netherlands or where it was at, or maybe this is an old picture, but Jake flying around the world when he has a fight in about 4 weeks is probably not the greatest look, and it doesn't seem to make it look like he's taking it as serious as he needs to, locked away in the gyms of Puerto Rico. Now, again, that could have been a different picture. That could have been something else, but that's pretty shocking to see. With that being said, I want to push back on that because I do think Jake is taking this as seriously as he absolutely needs to, because this is not only the toughest fight of his career, it's the most dangerous to the longevity of his career, to his health and well-being. And so to do something like that, you need to bring in the best help possible to get ready. We already heard that Jake Paul was preparing for Anthony Joshua by sparring the guy that Anthony Joshua was about to fight in Cassius Chaney, this gentleman right here, who was 24-3 from B-More, aka the DMV, and apparently is a top 100 heavyweight, even though it doesn't say he's actually a top 100 heavyweight. But that was
Spencer Oliver, a former professional boxer and commentator, views the forthcoming Anthony Joshua versus Jake Paul contest from a distinct angle, stating on a panel of specialists that the bout involves more than straightforward competitive stakes and carries symbolic weight for the sport itself. He draws a comparison to Muhammad Ali's era, noting that Ali occasionally accepted unconventional matchups that stirred public imagination and pulled interest from far beyond standard boxing circles. Oliver argues that should Joshua decide to meet Jake Paul, he will be entering a moment echoing Ali, where spectacle and entertainment merge with established professional sport. The contest could attract fresh audiences to boxing, introducing the discipline to people who may not usually follow traditional heavyweight clashes, while simultaneously examining Joshua's ability to remain focused in an unusual setting. The fight also signifies a cultural moment within boxing. Passage describes how the fight bridges long-standing boxing supporters with a newer digitally engaged audience. Oliver's comparison to Muhammad Ali's unconventional contest illustrates how major bouts can expand viewership and generate widespread attention. By stepping into this arena, Joshua connects with a broader demographic, including younger fans who follow Jake Paul mainly through social media platforms. This crossover influence can enhance the sport's visibility, potentially increasing revenue streams and sponsorship prospects, with analysts believing the cultural impact could match the significance of the fight itself and shaping future boxing narratives within the modern, global sporting landscape.
Remember the fact he fought Jake Paul. They remember the fact he knocked Klitschko out in Wembley in 2017.
Totally agree with that.
So I'm kind of, whilst I don't like it, and I don't like the way that Jake Paul gravitates to these brilliant athletes and like a moth sucks the life out of them because he gets the benefit of association, because I think they deserve all the association. But he is a and there is opportunity there, isn't there?
Listen, commercially, of course it works because it'll be huge and there'll be a load of money on the table. For Anthony Joshua, it's like sort of, he's going to get rewarded very well with no risk, minimal risk, no risk at all. He's going to go in there and he may then put all this stuff to bed with Jake Paul and calling out all these different champions, etc., etc. So, of course it works. And when you're talking about, the credibility that Joshua's going to get, he's not going to get none now, but are people going to remember that? Of course they're not. Like when he goes on to do what he does, didn't Muhammad Ali have some sort of strange fight in the middle of his career? Didn't he box? Yeah, he did. He boxed some non-boxing guy and whatnot. Like, people don't remember that. That's what I'm saying. Look, us as boxers, we don't remember stuff like that.
It was replicated in Rocky. So, he did a version of fighting Thunderlips, didn't he?
Veteran boxing commentator Gareth and Davies expresses major worries regarding the safety aspects of this potential contest, pointing out the significant size gap and the clear difference in experience between both men, arguing that the matchup pushes the boundaries of what is acceptable in a regulated ring. Davies stresses that a full competitive bout could become hazardous, particularly if Joshua connects with clean, forceful shots in the early stages. From his viewpoint, although the spectacle of a social media figure facing an established heavyweight is compelling, the physical dangers make it a highly doubtful undertaking. Analysts like Davies warn that governing officials and promoters must thoroughly assess safety protocols, as the consequences of a misjudged fight could prove serious for each participant.
There is a danger in this fight. The odds are Joshua's 1-12, obviously. Jake Paul is 6-1. Yeah. To win this fight in a 2-horse race, in which this is a guy who lost to Tommy Fury, Tyson Fury's brother, in an 8-round fight, who For me, I wrote that it would damage his legacy a week ago. It will damage his legacy for several reasons. If the Deontay Wilder fight never emerges, which it looks like it isn't, I've been calling for that fight for ages. If those two got in a ring together, it's still a massive fight. It's a dangerous fight to sanction, in my view. It sets the wrong precedent. It is 10-ounce gloves. It is a boxing match. It's not an exhibition. This isn't a 58-year-old Mike Tyson. This is one of the most dangerous finishers in the world, who is probably 5 levels above Jake Paul and a weight division above him. I think it's irresponsible to let those two in a ring together in a proper boxing match. That's my view. It doesn't damage his bank balance, but if he earns $70 million for this, are we...
Boxing analysts Angelo and Josh present a thorough technical analysis of the matchup, assessing both fighters in terms of experience, skill, and natural capability, and asserting that Jake Paul, though courageous, is not operating on the same level as elite heavyweights, such as Anthony Joshua or Deontay Wilder. Joshua and Wilder belong to a rare class of boxers whose timing, precision, and raw punching power can often change the course of a fight in an instant. Angelo and Josh explain that these qualities emerge from years of demanding training and significant physical advantages, aspects that smaller or less experienced fighters cannot realistically reproduce. They point out that bravery alone does not equal skill, and while Paul's confidence is noticeable, it cannot replace the depth of preparation and instinct that seasoned heavyweights bring into the ring.
Pete at the highest level, and I don't think he'd beat the top 5, top 6 guys. But that in that weight class is where he'd be at, like say 180, 188 or 189, somewhere around there is where he'd probably compete. There's not a lot of talent there though, so he might be pretty good in those weight classes. Him competing in the heavyweight division against like Deontay Wilder or Anthony Joshua or anybody else, no. He gets annihilated. I'm very surprised he signed this fight.
I was shocked he signed this fight. I texted my buddy Bo, because Bo follows boxing really well, and I texted him. I was like, dude, we might see a death. And he said the same thing. He's like, I cannot believe he agreed to that fight. But the numbers that are, nobody knows the true payouts. They're saying it's around $200 million that they're splitting evenly, so they're getting about $100 million each. He said that it was $267 million. So I don't know who you believe or don't believe, or it could be they're splitting 200 and the 67 delta they had to pay DAZN, because Anthony Joshua has a contract with DAZN, and this fight's going to be on Netflix. DAZN. It's DAZN. So they, which makes how the hell?
Please stop saying DAZN, okay? That's like Saint Benoit, okay?
Where's the O in DAZN?
It's DAZN.
Well, there's no O or no E at the end. But so they basically had to buy Anthony Joshua his permission